There are so many things from this one chapter that we could focus on it and apply to our daily lives to help us be better Christians. But today, I want us to look particularly at verses 14 to 16. Jesus said, "Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and they give it light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." The light that shines from those who receive Jesus Christ is not self-originated. It is all from the light and life of the world. That's Jesus. He kindles this light, even as he kindles the fire that all must use in doing his service. Christ is the light, the life, the holiness, the sanctification of all who believe, and his light is to be received and imparted of all good works. As we talk about the light of the world who saves us from our sins, I'm reminded of something that happened recently. My family and I were camping out on the north shore of Oahu of our church. We had a wonderful weekend of spiritual messages. On Friday night, our meeting was interrupted by two civil defense workers warning us of the possible 25-foot swells in the area. We all warned not to go near the water. As our cabin was right near the ocean, we could hear the rough waves crashing all night. The following day, we would hear the huge waves as the water broke on the shore. It was beautiful but powerful. Just as our meeting at Saturday night was over, a man came rushing into the room calling for help. His friends had gone swimming, now they couldn't get back to shore. A group from our camp immediately began to pray. Well, one called 911, and 3 others rushed out into the crashing sea to find the one that still hadn't made it back. The search was long. The firemen came with a great big fire truck, and one of them grabbed the surfboard and the small floater and jumped in. Even though there was a full moon overhead, it was very dark. It was hard to hear because of the loud waves crashing. One of our campers went down the beach a ways to pray in a more quiet place. He thought he heard a cry coming from the water, but it was hard to tell. Then he heard again. Pretty soon he could see the lump in the water. It was the lost swimmer. He rushed over to help him out of the water. The waves had been so fierce they had ripped off his shorts, but at least he was safe. He was alive. His friends had given up hope since it had been a very long time since they last saw his head bobbing up and down in the water as the fierce waves pulled him further and further out to sea. Immediately, the fireman shore began to call for the co-worker. "AJ, it's found!" they cried into the bullhorn, but the sea was too loud. They tried to sniggle him with a light, but there was no response. The attempt to bring him back in continued as we prayed for him. I saw the man who'd been lost at sea staying on the shore not too far from me. I wondered what he felt like when he was out there. I also wondered if he knew it was Jesus that brought him in. I went over to where he was staying with his friend and asked him how he felt. He just said, "Stupid," and told me never to do what he did. I told him that we had been praying for now. I noticed his friend was holding a flashlight. When I asked him what it was for, he told me the fireman still had not come back yet. He explained that when you're out there in the ocean and the waves are big and noisy and it's so dark you can't see, you sometimes don't know which way it is to shore. He said he was shining a flashlight on the water so the fireman could see it and know where to come to. As I looked down the beach, I noticed a lot of people shining lights out to the water. The man asked me if I would like to hold the flashlight. Of course, I said, sure, and he helped me point it to the sea. It was just a few minutes later, maybe 2 or 3, that we saw the fireman come paddling back in, and he was paddling in my beam of light. What an experience to think that the flashlight I was holding could be the light that showed the fireman the way to safety. You know, when Jesus told us that we are the light of the world, he was telling us that we can use the light he has given us to direct people out of the darkness of this world into his marvelous light. How exciting we can actually be the keepers of the light that will bring others to the safety of the kingdom of heaven. What a wonderful God we serve that will allow us to have such an exciting job while we're waiting for Jesus to come.
Well, Elijah, that is a beautiful, beautiful message. Jesus is the light of the world. But you know what? You are also the light of the world that Jesus is going to use, right? To bring that light into the darkness of the lives of people that are lost. You agree with that? Correct.